Missing Times. This week's stories. Showings of EBC film Guerrero in Japanese cities delight moviegoers. Open House New York celebrates architecture, design, and infrastructure of the city. SPIF's 44th Annual International Folk Fair celebrates cultural diversity. Pinball Expo captivates Vancouver. Plus, Philippine Embassy in DC campaigns for Violence Against Women Free Community. Hello everyone, I'm Alan Basolyahe bringing you stories from around the globe, and this is Eagle News Washington DC Weekend Edition. International showings of the EBC film Guerrero continue. Moviegoers in 3 Japanese cities delight in this Rise Above Life's Punches film by award-winning director Carlo Ortega Cuevas. Here are reports from our Eagle News Japan teams.
Happy, excited, and full of anticipation, these are the expressions you will see from this group of people lining up for a movie screening.
A Filipino film that has already traveled to various countries worldwide has made its way in the land of the rising sun, Guerrero. The movie from the director of Walang Take 2 has premiered in Japan.
Various Filipinos, Japanese, as well as other nationalities here in the country were gathered at 4 various areas all over Japan for the movie premiere. Tokyo, Hamamatsu, Tochigi, and Okinawa. Packed with humorous lines, heart-wrenching scenes, and even an unpredictable and hanging ending, the movie has cultivated various positive reactions from viewers with never any moment of boredom.
Hindi ba sabi niyo gutom na kayo?
And when we ask them what they can say about the film they've seen,
very, very interesting.
It's good?
Sobrang ganda po ng movie.
とても感動しました。
Sobrang saya po.
思いっきり泣いて思いっきり泣ける映画でとても良かったです。
Maganda po. Maganda. Napakasaya.
Masaya, nakakaiyak, nakakatuwa. Ang lakas ng tawa ko.
Now, let's check out what happened in Hamamatsu. Here's Aimiko Miwa.
Hi, I am Aimiko Miwa here in Hamamatsu Fukushi Koryu Center in Hamamatsu City, where the movie screening of Guerrero is happening. A great number of movie viewers all over Shizuoka Prefecture came together with their friends to witness the movie Guerrero. Right here in Hamamatsu City, Shizuoka. This is Aimiko Miwa for Eagle News. Back to you there in Tokyo, Tara.
Let's fly over to Okinawa in the southern part of Japan and let's see what's happening in the movie premiere of Guerrero. Here's Mary Jane Kinjo.
Good evening everyone, this is Jane Kinjo. We are here at the Okinawa Sangyo Koryu Center for the movie screening of the EBC films Guerrero. It's drizzling outside and it's a little chilly, but you can feel the warm reception of the people who's supporting this event.
And what makes the movie great is the values and lessons it teaches the viewers, and Guerrero never runs out of these.
Madami pong mapupulot na aral.
Ano man dumating mga pagsubok sa buhay, lalo tayong manalig sa Panginoong Diyos.
Through Guerrero, a movie from Eagle Broadcasting Corporation, Filipino movie writer and director Carlo J. Cuevas portrays the lives, ups and downs of a typical Filipino boxer that gives utmost inspiration and happiness to both the Japanese and Filipinos in Japan who are always occupied with work, family, and other stress-causing concerns.
Tunay na nagbigay ng inspirasyon sa mga nakasaksi, sa mga nakapanood. Hindi lamang po mga Pilipino, ang totoo kahit ang mga naritong Hapones. Ito po ay nagbigay sa kanila ng kasiyahan kahit po sa ilang oras na kahit na sa kanilang pamumuhay dito, alam naman po natin meron din kalungkutan at talagang sila ay pagod sa mga paghahanap buhay. Tunay na nagbibigay ng inspirasyon sa mga makakapanood, sa mga nakapanood po ngayon, nakalimutan nila kanilang mga alalahanin sa buhay, kanilang mga problema. Masaya na napanood po nila at hindi lamang po basta sila nasiyahan, hindi lamang sa karoon ng kaaliwan ng kanilang puso. Ito po ay nagbunga ng lalo nilang inspirasyon sa pagharap sa buhay. Sa buhay na ito, ang lalong mahalaga ay ang pagtitiwala sa Diyos. Ano man ang dumating na suliranin, bumagsak man, babangon. Pero ang pagbangon natin ay nasa tulong at awa ng ating Panginoong Diyos.
Panoorin niyo po itong Guerrero kasi napakaganda pong movie na to. Nakaka-inspire po sa buhay natin.
Yung mga hindi pa po nakakapanood, manood po kayo. Sobrang ganda po. Andun na po lahat yung comedy, tapos yung pagbanding, pagmamahal ng magkapatid, tsaka sa family po. Kaya manood po kayo. Sobrang ganda po.
Reporting from Tokyo, Japan, this is Tyronel Pililu for Eagle News International. And I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Japan. From the land of the rising sun, let's head over to the city that never sleeps with or without the sun. Open House New York, through its programs and during its annual OHNY weekend, advocates an open and inclusive city by celebrating its architecture and urban design. Joanne Blanco Soriano with the story.
For one weekend every October, Open House New York has been giving New Yorkers access to residences, facilities, and cultural spaces to appreciate architecture and design.
We're the smallest museum in New York, and we focus in object journalism. So we take different objects that people use every day in their lives from all around the world that interest us, that make us curious, and that tell stories. And then we use this as a way to tell those stories. So we're always looking for unconventional places, unconventional objects, to be able to bring all that together and show them off. So we're in Cortlandt Alley in Tribeca, Chinatown border area. And so we have some studio space in a building here, and there's a freight elevator in the back that was out of commission. We saw the space and thought, how can we use this in a new way to show off something, to tell stories in a new way?
I've always been a fan of Open House New York. This is a gallery one can come visit, but it's still important, I think, to be included in Open House New York as a venue which you learn a little bit more. You see it through the lens of architecture. Not only art lovers are coming today, but architecture lovers and people just that are curious about the city. This building, cast iron building from the late 1800s, one of the things as a firm, Bates Stogber Cox, that we feel is critical to our approach to architecture is respecting and drawing upon the history of a place. So obviously the cast iron architecture is expressed through the columns, through the height of the space. It was important for us to maintain the window wall as a kind of window into the gallery from the street. It's been nice to spend a day in the gallery and you kind of see the life of New York City passing in front of you, but at the same time you're in a kind of rarefied environment.
One of the amazing stops of Open House New York is the atrium of the Brooklyn Army Terminal.
So we're inside the atrium of Building B of the Brooklyn Army Terminal. So the Brooklyn Army Terminal was built between 1918 and 1919 as America was ramping up our involvement in World War I. It was completed after World War I ended, but it did play a major role as a military base in World War II and through the 1950s and 60s. So today the building is owned by the City of New York. It's run by the New York City Economic Development Corporation, and this is an industrial park. We're home to close to 100 companies, and nearly 4,000 people come to work here every day. So this is one of the biggest centers of industrial and manufacturing employment in New York City. This is the 6th year that we've hosted tours here at the Brooklyn Army Terminal, and we always get well over 100 people on each tour. It's really fantastic. Just the enthusiasm that people have. They're so curious because this is such a unique space. When you look at it, you can't really tell what it is. And so it's so great for us to be able to share the history, the design, the architecture, what this was used for, and how it's still being used today.
Even with all the well-known attractions New York City has to offer, Open House New York gives an even deeper look at the architecture and history of the city. Reporting from Brooklyn Army Terminal in New York, this is Joanne Blanco Soriano, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Joanne. When we come back, SPIF's 44th Annual International Folk Fair celebrates cultural diversity. Pinball Expo captivates Vancouver. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. SPIF's annual International Folk Fair turns 44, celebrating Tampa Bay's cultural diversity. Eagle News correspondent Abby Aragon takes us to St. Petersburg, Florida for this multi-ethnic event.
Did you know that the jersey number 44 of the Atlanta Braves and Milwaukee Brewers was retired in honor of Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Hank Aaron? It is also the code for international direct dial phone calls to the United Kingdom.
This number holds a special place in St. Pete, Florida, as the St. Petersburg International Folk Fair Society celebrates 44 years of diversity. Let's check it out.
The St. Petersburg International Folk Fair Society, or SPIFs, continue to display various works of all cultures and backgrounds in this yearly folk fair. It allows people to participate and showcase the best of their ethnic background.
To show the diversity of the community is very important, and to show that this is what the community, that our area here is really made up of. It's not just one type of people, we're all different but all together and all the same. So we are celebrating diversity, and we want all the ethnic groups to get together and enjoy each other and learn from each other. We're always trying to improve, to show more and more of whatever we can, and you know, we're showing the old culture, but we still want to show that we are in the modern times, we're using more digital things, we're showing more technology, and so on.
Attendees were treated to delicious ethnic food and various forms of ethnic entertainment. Most people have been coming for many years, but some have come for their first time.
I've been with this show almost 25 years. I'm coming here because people like my play, like my stuff. I make a little money, go back to Chicago. Yeah.
The SPIFs will continue on with the folk fair with hopes to improve every year.
Signing off from St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm Abby Aragon and I'm 1 with 20.
Now let's head northwest to Canada. In Vancouver, the Flip Out Expo captivates pinball fans. Bridget Ibanez reports.
As summer break slowly comes to an end, and many families shift gears from long driving to back-to-school supply shopping, some celebrated with one last hurrah at the Vancouver Flip Out Pinball Expo. The Vancouver Flip-Out Pinball Expo is an annual expo dedicated completely to the classic arcade game. More than 100 different pinball machines, including classics like Strikes and Spares, Black Knight, and the 1978 Kiss game, and other state-of-the-art pinball machines are available for visitors to play for free. The event also features modern-themed games like Game of Thrones and The Hobbit, just to name a few. The first pinball machine was patented in 1871 in the United States, with basic spring launcher and thin metal pins. The game itself, however, originated long before then, dating as far back as the 1700s. It is said to have evolved in France out of a combination of billiards and bowling. It was after World War II when the invention of flippers in 1947 started the golden age for the machines. However, it was also during the 1940s when many cities started to ban the machines due to public perception that pinball was a game of chance and as such was a form of gambling. It was 1976 when the machines rose in popularity after it was proven in court to be a game of skill rather than luck. Popularity has steadily waned over the years, but the old-school arcade game is resurging in popularity. In this digital age, many appear to long for an analog type of experience, and some have found that at the 3rd annual Vancouver Flip-Out Pinball Expo, held on September 7th to 9th, 2018. This year's show was filled with bright lights and featured a large free play area with tournaments in the modern and classic divisions. The venue was bustling with excitement as special guests from all over the world shared their knowledge and experience about pinball. Reporting for Eagle News, I am Bridget Ibanez, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Bridget. When we come back, Philippine Embassy in DC campaigns for Violence Against Women Free Community. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I'm Alan Basoyahe. The Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C. led a public forum on gender-based violence in support of the 18-day campaign to end VAW, or Violence Against Women. Speakers from the D.C. Filipino-American community led the forum, addressing trafficking in persons in the context of gender-based violence, the Violence Against Women Act, and violence against immigrant women. A Q&A session followed the presentation. The embassy also launched its VAW desk tasked to immediately attend to victims of VAW. The 18-day campaign to end violence against women is observed annually to raise awareness that VAW is indeed a public issue of national concern. This campaign supports the Philippine government's goal to protect human rights of women and its commitment to address all forms of gender-based violence. That is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Join us again next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at Eaglenews.PH and EagleNewsLive.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Basoyahe. I am 1 with 25.